Hello, friends, colleagues, students, C++ learners, and YouTube world. This is Dr. Satish Singhal, PhD, Professor of Computer Information Technology at Rose State College, Midwest City, Oklahoma. Today I'm going to talk about selection structure software, a software that uses selection structure that requires both nested if and else and standalone if structures. Okay, I've read the book, you read them, you can read them. Books talk about if structure, if alone, and if and else or nested if and else. But after all the reading and studying, we are left with the impression that it's the nested if and else we need all the time, and standalone if is a stepchild of some kind which should be just thrown away. And that's the kind of fog that exists because we don't really have the top-notch quality books in computer programming. Anyway, I'm going to clear up that fog today. Nothing is useless. There are pieces of software that requires both nested if and else for efficiency and standalone if, because nested if and else cannot be used in those parts of the software. So the code I'm going to show you is a graphical user interface that uses actually C++.NET. It's a version of C++, and you don't need to worry about if you don't know C++.NET. All you need to focus on is the structure of the software that I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's look at the Visual Studio. And okay, okay, this is fine. I think we can work with that. What I'm showing you here is let's say web order form for a pizza. You can put that on a website of a pizza store or on a kiosk of some kind. And let me see how the software works first. Well, you can choose one of the pizza size, small, medium, large, and extra large. And when you have to make one choice out of many, we show them by radio buttons, because radio buttons are mutually exclusive. You can only pick one of the many. But topping, there's no limitation. You can have one pepperoni, olives, onions, pineapple, mushroom, all of them or none of them. Okay, so let me first run the program and then I'll show you the code behind it. So I'm running the program right now, and it'll be a little bit slow because video chews a lot of memory. Oh my god. Okay, well, I may have to, let's see, why didn't it work? I'm gonna pause it and come back and fix it and come back. Okay, I got it working, and here's my pizza form. So notice the characteristic of this software. One of the radio buttons is pre-selected, and I can leave that if I want a small pizza. If I want medium pizza, I can click here. Notice I can only choose one pizza size. That's the important point. Let's say I'm very hungry, I pick extra large, and then I can choose 0 toppings or all of them. Let's say I'm going to just choose all of them. Each topping is 50 cents. I order my pizza, and it tells me cost of my order is $6.50. $4.50 for each of the 5 toppings, that's $2.50, and I can reset the choices. Okay? So before I show you the code, just remember, radio buttons, only one of them should be chosen at a time. Toppings, as many as I want, or 0. Okay? Let's see the code. So code for that is here. Okay, so there's a lot of code here. Most of you don't even need to really worry about. I'm just trying to see that, yeah. Actually, let me do one thing. Let me collapse them all to definitions, and then I'll only open the code that I need to actually. So here I have all the costs, and don't worry about the static and all that. So cost of small pizza is $1, medium is $2, large 3, extra large 4. Each topping is 50 cents. So that's something we just need to remember. And then when order button is clicked, order your pizza, remember I clicked that, then code inside this function here is executed. And notice in this part I have a nested if and else structure. So basically it says that if small pizza radio button is checked, which is this one, if this is checked, then set the total cost to cost of the small pizza, and all the costs we showed you up there, I can just copy and paste them for you temporarily, so they're in your view. Okay. But I'll put them on what are you doing. Okay. And then otherwise, else if they wanted the medium pizza, then I set my cost to cost of medium pizza, which is $2, in which case they'll be clicking, don't disappear on me, this button here. Else if they choose the large pizza, they'll be clicking on this button here, and in that case I add the cost of large, which is $3, or I add the cost of extra large, which is $4. Okay. Notice over here you could use if statement only, but as you saw in the student grading example, that would be inefficient. Doing it nested if and else is efficient, and that's the way we should do it, although we could do it standalone if. Okay? But this is more efficient. But understand, I have no choice to use nested if and else in this. This example is a shining star to show you that individual if structure is not a stepchild, it's not useless. There are pieces of software like this you cannot build without it. So don't get the wrong impression that is useless, it's not. So here user can check, if this is check, then we need to add the cost of pepperoni. If this is checked, we need to add the cost of olives and so on. So here we check for each one separately. We cannot use nested if and else in this case. So if pepperoni is checked, then I add the cost of one topping. If olives is checked, then I add the cost of second topping again, and I put cost of topping to be same, although that could be set differently if we want actually, but that was just to simplify the math. And if user also check onions, then we add the cost of topping one more time, pineapples and mushroom, the same thing. So moral of the story is this part cannot be done, and we cannot do the checkbox software without using the individual ifs. So those are exactly as important as nested if and else. Okay? And finally, we print the cost over entire order. All right? So that was the main idea I wanted to give you after having done in the class the student grading example where based on the student score there can only be one grade. And I said that nested if and else is fast, so we should use that, and that's exactly correct. But at the same time, anytime you have this kind of software where you start out with one size and then you have choice of adding other things. Here I'm showing you the pizza example, but if you go to Subway sandwich, same thing there. Your bread and size is like one choice, but inside the sandwich you can put 1 item, 2 items, 10 items. Third example of this kind of software is the ice cream parlor software. You'll only choose one size of the ice cream, but you can put as many toppings on that as you like. So there also Size of the ice cream has to be done like one size, but toppings you can put as many as you want. And there also, in this part where you choose the size, you'll have to do nested if and else for efficiency purpose, but topping size, the standalone if. So once again, this is Dr. Singhal. I just wanted to make sure that you understood that standalone if structure is not useless. There are softwares that you could not possibly build without it. Okay, nested if and else in those cases will not take the place of standalone if. There's a saying in India that if you need to sew a seam that has come apart, well, you can't do it with sword. You still need the needle, even though the needle has so much less iron and steel in it. So same thing. No matter how good nested if and else is, there are places that you need standalone if, and its job cannot be done by nested if and else. Thank you.